Welcome to the Home Designer Kitchen Design. My name is Emily and I will be presenting for you today. We do offer many different home designer programs. They all vary in their different kind of capabilities. I'll be using our Home Designer Professional today, and I'll direct you to where you can find the program comparison right through the website at the end of today's webinar. You can always give us a call if you have any questions about those differences as well. And we're going to be focusing on a kitchen space. So we'll get into our cabinet tools, so all of the base, wall cabinets, full height cabinet options. We'll be placing appliances, working with our backsplash controls, and then we'll get into creating a custom island and how you can do that in the program. We'll also touch on our ceiling tools and how you can create different ceiling designs. And then I'll drop in some different electrical components so we can create a electrical plan. Then we'll check our materials list to see what's generated after we create our design. And then I'll briefly touch on our layout page. This is only available in the Home Designer Pro. Kind of takes it up another level to a blueprint capability, so I'll touch on that slightly. So I'm going to get into my Home Designer Pro 2016 version, and you'll notice I already have a plan open. This is one of our sample plans that you can find from the website. Let me just show you where that is right now while we're talking about it. homedesignersoftware.com. Underneath our user center, we have different sample options through the samples gallery. So you just scroll down here. I'm using the Chic Cottage plan today. So these are actual plan files that you can download and open up in your software and design. Use those as a starting point, kind of explore the different designs and kind of edit from there. You can also start from scratch very easily, but I'll be using that Chic Cottage design for our kitchen today. So this blank area is our kitchen space. I'm just going to zoom in here. You can zoom in and out of your plan with the scroll wheel on your mouse. So you just scroll and you can zoom in or scroll the other direction to zoom out, or hold down that scroll wheel and you can pan, so you can move your plan with the little pan hand there. So some different shortcuts with your mouse, pretty efficient there. And then across the top, this is our standard toolbar. So we have our straight wall, curved wall, our door tools and window tools. Since we already have our plan set, I'm not going to be working with those tools today. But the next one here is our cabinet tool. And this is going to be the main area along with the electrical tools. And then over on the right hand side here, you'll see our library browser. So I'll be getting into our library browser a little bit later. I'm just going to close this so it creates more real estate on our screen, gives us some more design view there. Alright, so now that we have our floor plan view, let's get into a 3D view as well. So we have our camera view up top here. With our camera tool, we have a full camera. So that's like we're standing in the room. So I'll be using that mainly today. You also have a full kind of overview to see the entire structure, your entire design, or you can do a dollhouse view. So that kind of cuts off the ceiling and any floors above this, so you can just see the dollhouse view of this floor. For today, we're just going to use that full camera. So click and drag. So I'm clicking where I'm standing and I'm dragging to my focus. And I let go, and this is going to bring up our 3D view. So now we're standing in the room. You'll see all of our materials are placed in here. We'll change a few different materials today, so I'll show you how you can modify materials a bit. But let's start placing our cabinetry. So I'll select my cabinet tool, and we have our base cabinet, wall cabinet, a full height cabinet, and then our soffit tool, shelf and partition. our custom countertop and custom backsplash. These last two are available in the Home Designer Architectural or the Home Designer Pro, so it gives you that added design flexibility. I'm going to just bring my cursor right onto my design here, and you'll notice that we have an outline of our base cabinet, so we have an idea of where that's being placed. Single click and that will place our cabinet. This is just an object, so we can single click on our cabinet and modify the width. We can just drag that right out. We can also go down to our editing toolbar. So when the object is selected, we'll have some more controls down in our editing toolbar. One of the options is open object. So this will enable us to get into all of the different components of this base cabinet and make kind of those in-depth changes. So we can change our cabinet style. So you do have some different options to choose from. Of course, Home Designer Pro does give you the most capabilities here. And then of course here is our size and position, so we can modify right in here instead of using our editing handles to drag it out. And then control your countertop information, your backsplash, toe kick information right through this general panel. We can then get into our front panel and modify the different components that make up this cabinet. So I'm going to single click on our preview here, just on our door or the drawer right here. You'll notice that item type is a drawer. We can change that from our drop down. I'm going to be placing a sink into this cabinet, so it will be our sink base, and we don't need a drawer when we're placing a sink in there. So I'll change it to a false drawer, and let's single click on the doors, and I'm going to get into my shelves specify. Home Designer Pro gives you more customization with your shelving. So it has this specify button. In all of the other Home Designer programs, you can either remove or keep the shelving that's automatically generated. But we do have a manual option in Home Designer Pro, so we can change the number of shelves if we want it to be just a half shelf instead of going out to the very front. But in this case, I'm just going to remove it and select OK. Then we'll have all of the space we need for plumbing underneath that sink. Home Designer Pro also gives you more construction tools for your box construction, the door and drawer overlay information. Next, let's get into our door and drawer panel here. I'm going to change this to frame doors. You can also get into our library and find many more door styles to choose from. You can change your handles. I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to show you a different way that we can change things. So I'm going to leave that portion for now so we can see the updates here in a second. Same with your drawers. You can get in here and control that option. And then we have molding profiles that you can choose from, and this is applicable in the Home Designer Interiors, Architectural, or Pro. And you can also get into each cabinet and modify the materials in the materials panel. Alright, so that's good. I'm just going to select OK. If this is kind of a standard cabinet that you want to use throughout the rest of your design, you'll want to set this as a default. So that standard cabinet, that first one that I placed, is our default cabinet. And you can go up to Edit and click on Default Settings to set up your different materials, cabinet styles, and throughout the rest of our options here, if you have different door styles that you want to use throughout your design, just get into your defaults before you get started, or when you figure out what kind of default you'd like. So for instance, let's just open up that base cabinet again, and I'm going to get into the door and drawer option. We're going to change this to a framed door. We're going to change the hardware, or that handle, to a pull vertical. And in our 3D view here, you'll see that it's a little high. So let's drop that down a bit. That looks pretty good. And then for our drawer, I'll keep it a slab, but let's change our handle to that pole again. Alright, so now that I select OK, that's our default base cabinet. And you'll notice that our hardware, those handles, have changed. So the handles, if we change the door style for your default, that will update for the rest of your cabinetry. Now let's make sure this is centered over our window. So I'll single click on that cabinet again, and we have a center object tool in our editing toolbar at the bottom. Single click on that center object tool, bring it right over the window that you'd like that centered on. Single click again, and that will move our cabinet to be centered on that middle window. Alright, our next base cabinet is going to be a corner cabinet. So I'm putting my cursor right in the corner. I'm going to single click, and that will place a corner cabinet. And I'll show you in our plan view when we're working with our wall cabinets, that view in the plan view. I'm going to select our corner cabinet, open that up for specification, and under the options tab here, we do have some different check boxes. I can uncheck diagonal door, so that will create our pie cut corner cabinet. And let's add a Lazy Susan. So those changes have been made. I'm going to tile vertically. You'll notice that we have two different tabs across the top. You can click on one of the tabs and just drag it down a bit, let go, and that will tile your windows vertically. You can also control your windows in this drop down and tile vertically or horizontally there as well, but I like to click and drag on those tabs. So I'm going to zoom in here just with the scroll wheel on my mouse, and you'll see with our corner cabinet that the indication for that Lazy Susan has been placed in there. So let's get back into our base cabinet, and I'm going to drop in a few more here. So we'll have a cabinet kind of spaced there to place our dishwasher. And you'll notice when it becomes a smaller area, it will automatically resize. So this space is 15 inches. You can tell that by the label that's created there. Single click to drop that in. And I'll just open this one up quickly. We're going to just change our door from right door to a left. And on the other side here, I'm going to modify this one down to 12. And we'll put one right over in the corner, drag that one out to about 36. And when I place in the next cabinet, you'll notice that there is a fill in between my 12-inch base and my 24-inch base. That is because the distance between those is 3 inches or less. The program will automatically put a filler into that space if it's 3 inches or less. But I don't need a filler. I'm just going to resize that and bump that up, and that will automatically remove that filler for us. So let's work with our cabinetry a little bit more and modify some different components. I'm going to work with the last two cabinets here. So let's open up the 27-inch cabinet. I'm going to single click on the front here on our doors, and I'm going to change that to a drawer. And then on our top drawer here, I'm going to change that maybe to 6 inches. And let's add a new drawer. So we need another component in here. So we go to Add New, and it will ask us what would we like to add. Let's add a drawer and maybe have that 8 inches. Select OK. So that will put in another drawer for us. And you'll notice in our face item area, it really labels out everything that's placed here. So we know that we have our separations, and you can click on those, change the separation height, and work your way down here. But that looks pretty good, so I'll select OK. And then for our last cabinet here, we have some new kind of cabinet tools for the Home Designer Pro version in our 2016 release. And that will refer to our split vertical, split horizontal, and equalize. So for our doors here, I want to still have my full length drawer up top here. But let's split our doors vertically. So now I can single click on this door, or I can single click on that door. And for this door, I'm going to change it to a drawer. Now it's one big drawer. I can go up and do the add new, but this is a bit faster. Our split horizontal will then just split those. And they're already equalized. They both have the same height here, but you can single click on the top, kind of the parent there for those drawers, and click on equalize if you want all of those drawers to be the same height. So that's kind of an efficient tool there as well. Alright, so that's pretty good. I'll select OK, and now we have all of our base cabinets placed. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, and we're going to continue working with our wall cabinets. So in my floor plan view, I'll select my wall cabinet. We're just going to drop in a few here. And if you select like one of the base cabinets instead of the wall cabinet, you can go down to your editing toolbar at the bottom and click the next button here. There's also a shortcut, and that's tab on your keyboard. So you can hit tab on the keyboard to get to the next closest object. So let's bring that down to about 18 inches. And in the corner over here, you'll notice when I put my cursor right into that corner, the outline changes for our corner cabinet. If you just bring it out slightly, it'll change it right back to your standard wall cabinet there. But I'll place in our corner cabinet and just resize this guy a bit. And we'll drop in another wall cabinet. And I'm going to open this up. And I do not want a door on here anymore, so I'm just going to delete the door. And that's going to automatically change it to an opening so we have exposed shelving. Alright, so we have this back wall area pretty well completed. We're going to work along our wall here and drop in some more cabinetry and a refrigerator. I wanted to bring up an image that I found that is kind of some different design inspiration. I wanted to include a shelving component or some sort of cabinet option to place wine bottles, and I think we can do that along our refrigerator. I'm going to use our full height camera, or the full height cabinet, and just drop that in. I'm going to resize that to 9, and you know what, let's actually drop that down a little bit further. Let's open that up and change the width to 6, and then I'm going to delete these areas so it's just one tall cabinet and have all of the shelving exposed. And let's get into the shelving here and add some more shelving. So there's a bit smaller little cubbies there. Select OK. That looks pretty good. Select OK again. And that will update in our plan for us. Next, let's get into our library. We have some books up here, so that represents our library browser that you can click on, and that will open up all of the different library items that we can use in our design. We have our core catalogs. These are the generic items that we just incorporate into the program. We also have bonus and manufacturer catalogs that you can download from the website, and I'll show you where you can access those at the end today. And then you also have your own custom user catalog. This is your own area. If you import any materials or 3D objects, you'll store them right in your user catalog. I'll just get into our core catalog. Underneath the architectural and appliances, we'll find our refrigerators, and I'll just do a standard size, and that one looks pretty good. So I'll just drop that in. And again, these are just generic. So if you have a refrigerator that is a different size, you can just modify that and have that meet the standards that you need. And I would like to create more of a built-in effect here. So I'm going to just drop in a panel and bring that over slightly. And we'll just drag that out. I need to zoom in a little bit further to get that editing handle, and we'll just drag that out a bit. And next, let's place a wall cabinet above our refrigerator. So just select that wall cabinet, drop it on, and it's automatically going to resize and be above your refrigerator, so you don't have to worry about resizing that. And then I'll just drag it out here. And I notice that my little partition here is a little far, so let's bring that back. And then in my 3D view, let's move over slightly, and it's a bit short, so let's just drag that up. All right, pretty easy. So let's drop in a few more here. And you can drop them in your 3D view or plan view. So 3D view, let's get into our dishwasher. And I'll just select the first dishwasher here. Just bring your cursor right onto that cabinet, single click, and that will place our dishwasher. For our sink options, those are underneath our fixture folder. We'll get into our sinks, the kitchen sink, and we'll do an undermount and maybe the offset of 32. So in my floor plan, I'll just bring my cursor right over that cabinet, single click, and that's dropped in there as well. All right, I'm just going to close out of our library for a bit here. And in our 3D view, let's match some different materials. So for our appliances in the sink base here, I'm going to go up to my top toolbar and select my material eyedropper. I'm going to single click on the dishwasher material. So that's a stainless steel, and then apply that onto my refrigerator and into the sink here. There we go. So pretty quick and efficient to use that material eyedropper to match materials throughout your design. So now that we have our kitchen designed on this side, let's drop in a few more cabinets for storage along our wall over here, and then we'll start working with our island. So you'll see in our floor plan view, our camera is active here. So I can single click on that camera and I can just move that around. So I have a different angle, a different view. And then in my camera view, you can use our orbit camera tool and just click and drag. You can pan in the same fashion where you hold down your scroll wheel, and you can pan your view as well. Alright, so in my floor plan view, since I have a little better angle, I'm going to place my full height cabinet, and we're going to resize those and just drag it out to maybe 36. And I'm going to open that one up. Let's remove the toe kick. So we can just remove the depth here, just put that at 0. And I'd like to make some modifications to this cabinet. So I'll single click on the front, and I'm going to modify this. Let's do maybe 34 inches. And we're going to add a new just opening area here. That's about maybe 19 inches. And let's go back up there. Let's change that to 34 again. And I'll click on the opening and resize that to 19. And I'm just going to remove the shelf that's in there. So we have a larger area for putting vases or any other display items. So then our kind of the base area is 30 inches. Alright, so that's customized. So let's just copy that in our tools at the bottom. We have a copy option, so you just can copy it. Just bring your cursor right over the middle move square and click and drag, and that copies and moves it right over. Next, let's get into our island. For the island, we'll just be using our base cabinets, and I'll just drop in a cabinet here, and I'm going to resize that to 21 inches, and we just bump them up one to the next, and actually our middle one needs to be about 36, and we'll do another 21 inch here. I'm just going to marquee around all of them. So I hit my space bar to get to my arrow tool. With the select objects tool, you can click and drag, and that will create a marquee and select those items. So then we can just rotate them all at the same time. And I'll continue to drop in a few more, maybe just a couple on the back here. And these are going to be bookshelves. So let's open this guy up. We'll delete the top drawer here, so just click on that drawer and hit delete. And then we'll open up this area, so you can hit delete or just change that to opening. And again, under general, I'm going to remove the toe kick, so we'll just hit 0 there to bring that back out. Alright, let's see if that equals the rest of our space here. Yep, that works pretty well. Alright, so now that we have those in place, I need to get into a different view. So let me just move my camera out here so we have a different view, and we're going to drop in a range, just the cooktop on top here. So back into our library, I'll get into my appliances, the cooktop, and we have an electric with the downdraft in there. So I'll just drop that in, and there we go. Alright, so now that we have our island all completed, I'm going to hit that spacebar again to get to my select object tool, click and drag a marquee around everything, and I want this to be one unit. So instead of individual cabinets, I want it to be one unit. And in Home Designer Architectural and Pro, at the bottom here, we'll have a Make Architectural block. So I can single click on that, and now it's one unit, and I can move it as one. So if you select that island, you can single click on the temporary dimension here, and let's just move that out to 42 inches and hit enter. So it will move that whole unit for you. Alright, now that we have our space completed here, I wanted to touch on some different ceiling tools. So for our ceiling, let me just make our 3D view a bit larger here. I'm going to get back into our cabinet tools and click on the soffit tool. And we're just going to drop in a soffit here and just drag that out. And I'll copy it and reflect it onto the other side. So this Reflect About tool is in Home Designer Pro, giving you a little bit more efficiency when you're going through your designs. And then I'll just copy that again. And instead of pasting it or moving it somewhere, I'll just rotate. And we'll just modify and bring that over. So I'm creating a tray ceiling right now with our soffit tool. So I'll just copy this and reflect it onto the other side of the room. So with the soffit tools, you can create a pretty quick and efficient tray ceiling effect. You can use these tools for kind of the coffered ceiling options as well. I kind of wanted to go towards a beam kind of route, so let's put some beams in that opening for that coffered ceiling area. And this is kind of chunky here, it's a little large, so I'm going to actually open up my soffits, and we have a pretty quick efficient way for you to select objects. I had my soffit tool selected, and then you just hold down Shift on your keyboard and draw out that marquee, and that's only going to select our soffits. So, and at the bottom, in the very bottom left corner, you'll see that 4 objects are currently selected. We have 4 soffits, so we know that we're opening up those items. So we can change our height in here. Let's bring that up maybe 10 inches. And then we also want this placed under the ceiling. So we don't have to do our own kind of calculations here. We can just select the place under ceiling and it does the math for us. I'll select OK and everything will update there. So next I'm going to copy one of the soffits that we already have placed and bring that in slightly. So let's open that one, and I want this to be our beam. So in order to change that to kind of a beam effect, I'm just going to modify the size and again place that under the ceiling, and then we'll just simply change the material. So I'm going to zoom in on my floor plan and make sure that's placed correctly here, and you can see it up in our 3D view. I'm going to get into my library here to select a material, and I have saved a material already in my own folder. So it has a wood grain to it. It's a nice light wood option. So I'm going to apply that onto that soffit. So with a single click, that will be applied. However, the grain is not running in the correct direction as I would like. So in our editing, or not the editing toolbar, but the just standard toolbar at the top here, we have the adjust material definition. It's kind of a little rainbow tool. Click on that and then single click on that material, and we can define that material more in depth. Under the pattern, I always like to manipulate both the pattern and texture at the same time. It doesn't look like this one really has a pattern assigned to it, but typically they do, and it's just good to manipulate all of those at once. And this is how you would manipulate like your flooring direction, the plank direction there, your tile if you wanted to manipulate tile. This is a great way to modify all of those components. So we're going to do 90 degrees, and we're just moving those around. Under properties, you do have some more control on how that will appear, if it's shiny and transparent and so forth. Alright, so that is good to go, and now you'll see that is updated in our view. So now that we have that placed here, I am going to use my transform replicate. This is only in Home Designer Pro. It's another efficiency tool that we have here. Let's do maybe 5 copies. I haven't quite done the math here, so we'll see how this places out. But we need to move this in the Y delta because we're moving it up or down. So that's going to be the Y delta, and we are moving it down. So it needs to be a negative. Let's do 24-inch spacing. Select OK, and it will move all of those for us. We can then hold down Control on the keyboard to multi-select And let's just center this in that opening space. And there we go. So pretty quick and easy to make those changes and modifications. And then from there, of course, we can either drag this up if we don't want any space, any opening area. We can have that opening area to place other baskets and so forth if you would like. So a lot of different customization throughout your design, and especially once you start seeing it in a 3D view, it's always fun to make additional modifications. Alright, so now that we have our ceiling completed in this room, I wanted to show you another option here with kind of our sitting area. I want to just place some chairs here in a minute, but for right now, let's just move our camera out a bit. And when we single click in this space, it is all one room. So everything that's grayed out is all one room. And the ceiling is generated just as a flat ceiling in this room. So I want a different ceiling height, or maybe I just want more of a cathedral ceiling in this space. So we are going to get into our wall tool and use our room divider. This room divider enables you to click and drag out a barrier, so it's not really a wall, there's nothing created in our 3D view, but now I can single click in this one space and I can open that room for specification. So now I can get into materials and change the flooring in just this space, just the ceiling finish, so it's its own individual room. Under structure, I'm just going to show you quickly here. We do have some ceiling information, and we can uncheck ceiling over this room. So then this ceiling will automatically just follow the roof plane and the pitch of that roof plane. So pretty quick and easy to create a bit of a cathedral effect there. And as I added the or created that architectural block for the island, I also created an architectural block, just these different components for our sitting area. So I'm just going to move those back into place and have the little sitting area there. And just to kind of backtrack with that island, if you did want to add that to your library, just select it, and at the very bottom in our editing toolbar we have an add to library. So that gives us that control so we can add it and use it in future projects. And there will be another tool next to that to explode your architectural block. So then it is single components again, and you can manipulate and modify from there. Since we're in our 3D view here, let's go over a couple different rendering techniques. So right now we're in our standard render, but from here we can get into a vector view. It's more of a technical view, gives you all of the different patterns. So that's why it's good to change the pattern as well as the texture when you're defining the different materials. And then we have our glass house view. Here is our technical illustration. And within Home Designer Pro, we also have a watercolor effect. So it makes it a little less defined, but still a good view. Alright, so now that we have our design pretty well completed, let's talk about our electrical. So I'll get right back into my floor plan. And for our electrical tools, we have our 110 outlet, 220, our light. So again, this is in your default settings. You can set the standard default light that you would like to use. Just out of the box with our software, it will be a recess light. So I'm just going to drop that in. And if I zoom in here, you'll see if my cursor is really close to the wall, it will put a wall-mounted fixture. And when I bring that away from the wall, it will just put in our kind of our standard light. So let's just drop that in, and I'll put in another one over our sink, and then maybe some throughout the room here. I'm not being too specific, but you do have even more control once you kind of focus in with the dimensioning tools and so forth. So now that I've placed those in, let's get into our pendant light. So that's going to be back into our library. In our core library, and our lighting will be under the architectural folder as well. And then our pendant lights, if you click on just that folder, it's going to bring up a preview of all of the light fixtures that we have available. And then you can also scroll down and select each individual one for a larger preview. So I think there's one that I would like here. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to drop in a few over our island. Okay, let's get back into our 3D view and just see how our lighting is coming along. Pretty well here, and you'll see reflections, and when the lighting is placed, everything gets updated for you. We'll just drag that down a bit. And with the soffit tool, the lighting will automatically locate to the bottom of your soffits versus just our standard ceiling height. So there's a lot of knowledge built into the program to help you be efficient. And then back into our floor plan, I'm just going to drop in a few different items here. So we have a switch. I'll just drop in a switch over here. And for the outlets, maybe we'll put an outlet up here, put an outlet down here, and we have our connect electrical. So for our switch, it will turn on our different light fixtures here, and it's bringing up a question saying that our electrical layer is not being displayed. So yes, we would like that to be displayed. And then you can just connect all of the recessed lighting that you want on that switch. So you can create your electrical plans that you need. Alright, so next I am going to just get into a 3D view here quickly to show you when I placed the outlets. It will automatically place your outlets above your cabinets, or if I rotate around slightly, you'll see that the other outlet is just placed on the standard height off of the floor. So some different knowledge built into the program again for your efficiency. And I'm going to get into an elevation view. We have another camera here. It's called our orthographic camera in our Home Designer Pro. And we have a wall elevation camera, so we can just click and drag towards the back wall here to bring up our elevation view. And from here you can work even further. We do have a custom backsplash tool within Home Designer Pro. In all of the other programs, you'll simply open up your cabinet and specify your cabinet backsplash heights right in here, so you can bring that up. Or with our custom backsplash tool, I can just click on this wall, and that will automatically put in a new backsplash for us. And you can see that has been placed around our windows, so it just kind of cuts through all of those openings, and then you can modify the height of that however you'd like. So pretty quick and easy tool for you in the Home Designer Pro. And that's also in the Home Designer Architectural. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about our layout page. So this is a separate document that enables you to create more of that blueprint format. So I'll just do a new layout, and it will bring up another tab for us. A border's already created for you, but you can delete those. Just use these CAD lines and text tools and so forth to create your own custom title block if you'd like that. And let's bring over our elevation view. I'm going to dimension this a bit. So I'll use my dimension tool. We have an end-to-end dimension that we can just click and drag that right through. And yep, that's fine. I'm just going to drag that down. And you'll notice that it's locating just right past the cabinetry. So I'm just going to click on that diamond and drag it over to modify. And I'll click on that dimension and drag that down a bit. And then we'll have our manual dimension tool to click and drag that through. Yep, everything's coming up there. And you'll see that it does locate to quite a few different areas, so you can just drag off some of those dimensions that you don't really care about. So those are all kind of the diamonds, how it's locating, where it's locating, and you'll also see that it's locating to the center line of your appliances. So I'm just going to drag that off so it's a little less cluttered there. Alright, so now that we have our cabinetry kind of dimensioned out, you can modify each individual dimension line if you'd like that to show up a little bit smaller. Maybe we'll drop that down to 3. And then you can also double click on your dimension tool and change the format. So if you'd rather show this in inches, you can just change the format altogether and modify the format there. So let's just send this over to our layout page, and we can change our scale. So let's do 1/2 inch to a foot, and that will bring it right over for us. And then you can also get into your library in this view and add your own logos and text, notes, and so forth that you have saved. And continue by sending this view over or any other views that you would like. But I'm going to move on over to our materials list. Underneath tools, we have our materials list, and we can calculate from just a room. So I'm going to single click in this room and then get into my materials list and calculate from just that room. And you'll notice with our cabinetry, it does break it out a bit for you, so you can see with the base cabinet, the different materials, drawer information, the hardware that's on there, the counts. You can add any extras that you would like, and then put in your own pricing for an estimate to be generated. You can also export this materials list to Excel or CSV, text, so you can use it with other project management programs available as well. So I'm going to close out of our materials list here and just take you quickly over to our website to show you a little bit more, some more resources. So I'm just going to go right back up to the user center. Just like I mentioned with our catalog, the bonus manufacturer catalog options, you can just select the catalogs and content download to find additional accessories and doors and windows and so forth through here. For your materials, just expand these different areas and you can download Benjamin Moore and other manufacturers to use in your own designs. And then if I go back here, we have additional training resources through videos. So go through our training videos for even more information. We do have more webinars available, so keep signing up for our webinars. And then underneath support, we have our knowledge base. And that will bring up many different help articles showing you how to do different projects and so forth. And you can search for different topics just through our search bar here. Again, we do offer many different home designer programs. So we do have a full product chooser, that comparison charts that will do a side-by-side comparison showing you the differences. And then we also have trial versions of our Home Designer Pro or the Home Designer Architectural that you can download and try. But with any program, once you purchase, you'll still be under our 30-day money-back guarantee. We want to make sure it is the right fit for you. So we do offer that 30-day money-back guarantee with all purchases. We do offer upgrade discounts. So if you're interested in upgrading, you can do that directly through the website or give us a call if you have any questions and so forth there. And check out those resources through the website. Email us at any time, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll answer all of those questions and get you right into the right program. So let us know if you have any further questions, and have a wonderful day.